welcome to the Nonprofit Exchange. I'm your host, C. Richard Gilchrist, and this afternoon or this evening or whenever you're watching or listening to the program, we are about to have ourselves enlightened by 180 degrees of exchange. And Pastor Francis is with us today. Pastor, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, you know, I was so impressed with the information I got about your organization from Miss Kiki, who is always, Miss Curry is always on the spot helping out some of the people in the community. So she asked me to be involved with you today, and I said, hey, that's awesome. It's right on time. Father's Day was just a couple of days ago, so we are really glad to have you. Tell us about 180 Degree Exchange.
Yes, sir. Well, it's a 180 exchange. We are a manhood, fatherhood initiative located right down in the southeast community of Newport News. We provide fatherhood classes for new dads. So we do a curriculum called Dr. Dad for new dads. We do a curriculum called 24/7 Dad for men who are experienced as fathers, but just may need to find ways to connect with their children. And then we also do a manhood component where we provide services for men who they may not be fathers, but they are trying to figure out why they are wired the way that they're wired. So we provide classes for those men as well.
We're going to unpack all that, but let's talk about how you got started with this.
Okay.
You know, a lot of times when people come on the Nonprofit Exchange, what I'm trying to do is make sure people who either want to start a nonprofit understand what the process is about starting a nonprofit. And number two, if you don't want to start your own, here, come join others
right.
who have started their own nonprofit and who's working in the area that you may have an interest in.
Right.
So let's start with how you got started with yours.
Okay. Well, last March, well, actually, just to take it back a couple of years, I moved into the community, into the Hampton Roads area as a pastor of a church in the community.
Okay.
2 years living in Hampton, we desired to live amongst the people that we were serving in Newport News, downtown Newport News. And so we moved down there December of 2017. And March of last year, the church, we ended up having to close the church.
Okay.
And so in the process of that, we began to start this part of what we were going to attach to the church, actually kept it going. And so we started this initiative through LegalZoom to help us go through a lot of the red tape that we just really could not get through. And for about 8 months, it was just kind of sitting there and still trying to gather a lot of information in the process of a church closing. My mother passed away in September, and so a lot was going on. But in late November, early December, we started trying to get some things going. And in late January, early February, we actually was able to obtain a building, and we were able to get folks donated a lot of things, and so we've got the 180 house where we provide, it's our office building. We also provide the classes there in that facility. It's right above Esquire Barbershop, which is a really well-known barbershop on the corner of 25th and Jefferson in the southeast community. That barbershop's been there for 62 years.
All right.
And so we're wanting to, we're wanting to serve the community, and what better place to serve but right above a barbershop.
Right.
So, and we're actually in the building of one W. Hale Thompson. He was the African-American lawyer who helped desegregate the libraries in Newport News.
Okay.
So we're actually in his old law office.
All right.
And so we've just been an honor to be able to help serve men in that community and through in that building.
So did you get board members to get on board with you? Tell me about that process, because that always is a process that I think that young people and people who are interested in starting nonprofits, how did you talk them into becoming a board member?
Yeah, well, it took a lot of sharing your vision.
Okay.
People need to not only hear your vision, they need to hear your passion behind what you're doing. And so we were able to ask folks who we thought were would really provide a lot of know-how in what we're doing. We also wanted to. I also wanted to put people around me who were a whole lot smarter than I am.
I know the field.
So that they could really help me walk through a lot of this. This is a new adventure for me.
Okay.
And so a lot of the folks that are on board with us, they've either started their own business or been a part of boards before, and so they've got the experience and the know-how. And so upon asking them, sharing the vision, letting them see where my heart is towards men, they were on board. And so we've got a board of 5. I'm one of the board members.
Okay.
But what we do is we will try to bring on at least 2 more board members over the next 2 years.
Okay.
That way we can have a total of 7.
All right.
They work with me to put our bylaws together and our constitution.
Excellent.
We had to become incorporated through the state of Virginia.
Right.
Which is a lot of other jargon. And
it goes with it.
But one of the things that really blessed us was that we were able to receive just some extra and additional help from a CPA. He's providing pro bono service for us.
Yes.
And so we've been, just like I said, just been blessed in those areas.
You know, those were the kind of things that I wanted to make sure that every time we talk about a 501c3 and the service that is being provided, we've got to give our community a way of looking at how they can get started with these things. Now, did you ask your board members to actually donate dollars and cents to you guys? Because, again, I don't want anybody to get the impression that just your sweat equity is the only thing that we ask them, but we really want some of your financial assistance too.
Right. So there are 2 types of boards. You have an active board or a non-active board.
Okay.
We have an active board. What we have placed in our bylaws is that our board members will actually help in receiving donations for our organization.
Okay.
And so we ask them to find funds quarterly to be able to give.
All right.
And that's just and they're part of their investment, or we ask them to make sure that they're able to make meetings, only maybe miss 1 meeting out of the year.
Okay.
And so
And how many meetings are you having a year?
We because we're just starting, we want to have one every other month.
All right.
And then once things start rolling, maybe we can have some quarterly. That way it's not too much pressure on everyone.
Right.
And also just trying to make sure that everyone stays involved. So what I try to provide for my board members is every 2 weeks, try to provide them an overview of what I'm doing during those 2 weeks, so that they can have an idea. I'm not just out here just kind of hanging out.
Right.
I'm actually out here trying to work in the community, because what we want to do is we want to make sure everybody understands that our organization is not just here to just to be here. We will actually desire is to see our organization being in existence for the next 25 years.
All right.
And so we want to make sure that as we're providing services in the community, we want to keep our board members who they may not be able to come down every week like I am, but keeping them in touch with what we're doing and in tune with what they're doing. So when we are able to start getting funds in where I can get paid, they're not thinking I'm just messing around. They understand we're actually doing work.
That's excellent. I think that a lot of people don't recognize the whole idea of starting a nonprofit. Sometimes you have to go without so-called pay for a while to get it moving. But you also want to make sure that people who do donate to you, you're saving a portion of that donation for the future, so that you can, grow that organization. Because a lot of the young people, when they hear about us starting organizations, they get angry, some of them, because they know that you're not going to be there for any long period of time. And so we have had that experience in the organizations I've worked with over the years. And in fact, one of them told us, no, we don't want to be involved. And people said, well, why? They said, well, because you're going to come here for 3 months, 6 months, a year, and then you're going to be gone. So they created a savings account that was created at the beginning of the organization, and that savings account grew over the next 51 years. So, and so that means that those young people were invested the whole time that they were in the organization, and they in turn taught the other people who came into the organization over the years to continue to invest in it. And it started off with a nickel. So we're not talking about starting off with hundreds of dollars. every kid threw in a nickel. So that may be a way for you to do something with your organization to have them start with, a couple of nickels.
Right. Well, what we hope to do with our organization is we will look at longevity as this being able to invest in the people that are in the community.
Right.
So my hopes is that as the executive director, I would be in this position for the next 5 to maybe 7, 8 years.
Right.
And my desire is to be able to hand it over to a guy who has shown and proven that he has the same kind of passion that I do towards the men in our community. Hand it over to that guy so that he can lead in the community and lead this organization in our community. And those are the types of investments that we want to be able to make in our community.
That's fantastic. Now we're going to unpack a little bit about what the services are. You mentioned all 3 of those segments. So let's start segment number 1.
Okay.
You got a young man. How old is he?
Unfortunately, I have had to deal with a father that is 13 years old for the first time.
Father, 13 years old.
Yeah. So
okay.
I've done this type of work in Charleston, South Carolina. That's my home.
All right.
I did it at a pregnancy center down in that area, and so I did it for 3 years. And I've dealt with as young as 13 and as old as 60.
Okay.
So there's that range.
Right.
The one service that we do have for new dads is called Dr. Dad. Okay. All of our fathering curriculum comes through the National Fatherhood Initiative.
Okay.
So we receive all of the curriculum through there.
Okay.
So Dr. Dad is one of those.
Now break down Dr. Dad. Is that 13-year-old coming to that session?
Right. So they get to learn about how to treat a sick child, a well child, an injured child.
Okay.
And then we go through those. Each section deals with a multitude of things.
Okay.
With the well child, you get to learn how to put a diaper on.
Okay.
Some guys don't know how to put on a diaper.
Right.
You get to learn where to stick the thermometer.
Okay.
And how deep to stick the thermometer.
Okay.
Some guys don't know how to do that.
Right.
Some also swaddling a baby.
All
They'll
right.
understand it. What I try to explain to guys is that even though you're having this child, they don't come up with instructions.
Right.
So we want to be able to help you in those areas. And so, unfortunately, yes, we do play with dolls sometimes.
All right.
We'll have a doll there for them to actually work on, but that's just so that they can become used to it and know how to hold a child, know how to test the milk or test the food, make sure it's not too hot. When it comes to washing the baby, making sure that, and then the other key component to that is making sure that mom is okay as well.
Okay.
We want to make sure that we are not only helping dad be a great dad, but also be a great mate. Okay. As much as we, as a pastor, I would love to see couples married, but I mean, I understand we're in times where folks don't look at marriage in that way sometimes.
Right.
So we deal with the married couple, we deal with the cohabitating couple, and even sometimes we deal with couples who they may end up co-parenting, but they may no longer be together. So we want to make sure that mom and dad understand that the child is the most important part of this family, and we want to make sure that the child is taken care of, but we'll also make sure that both parents are taken care of as well.
That is excellent. Now you move on from that program to what's the next one?
So the next one is 24/7 Dad.
24/7.
That allows men to really take a look at the history in their family, look at how they were raised by dad, look at what type of father that they have been or want to be. So it deals with a lot of deep issues, deals with a lot of spiritual issues, deals with a lot of emotional issues. But it's also a great opportunity for guys to be able to express some of what they're going through, some of the pains that they're dealing with. So a lot of times what we end up doing is, what I try to do is, as much as I want to stick to the curriculum, I also want to feel dad out. If dad comes in and there's an issue going on, we'll take the curriculum aside and we will actually sit down and talk about whatever the issue is. Okay. One thing that I try to tell guys is that every man needs a 2 a.m. Waffle House friend. I learned that from my pastor back in Charleston.
2 a.m. Waffle House friend.
What we want to be able to do is open up the opportunities for every guy to understand that they're not by themselves and they're not alone. So if it's 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, instead of making that decision that may cost you the next 5, 10, 15 years, call me, call someone on our team who can be able to talk with you, and we're able to provide this kind of service for you. We want every guy to know they're not alone and that they have an opportunity to make it, and they don't have to do it by themselves. We want to be able to hold guys accountable, but we also want them to know that we have transparency. We're going to bring some brokenness to the table, but it's not where I'm trying to fix you. It's where we're going to work together. I'm going to learn some things from Dad,
right,
and they're going to learn some things from me, and then we're going to be able to do these things together.
You mentioned something about a team, and I know that somebody's going to be listening and saying, oh, wow, I really like to be a part of what he is doing. Right. Tell me about the team and what kind of training you might do with a team member so that person can interact with your young men.
Yes, so a part of our team, I've got 2 other guys that will be working with me in providing these services for the classes. One gentleman's name is Calvin Young Jr. The other guy is Darnell Stewart. And what we do is they go through the curriculum as well, so that they'll learn what we're going to be teaching each guy.
Okay.
So those guys, they have that same drive and passion that I have.
All right.
So they're a part of that team, and they are will be providing services as well as I do. I'm taking most of the brunt of it. Those guys are working other jobs.
Okay.
And with me starting this, it's kind of like really, I'm doing it, and when I need the additional help, I'll kind of bring them in, or if they run into somebody that they know that can do it as well, then they will, provide the services to those guys.
There's an organization out there called Mission Continued. Have you ever heard of them?
I have.
All right.
What's her name?
Yes, and please talk to her because I think she might be able to give you some team members.
I know Miss Renee. I do.
All right.
Good people.
So now, the team is working. We got how many youngsters at a time are you looking to get involved? In other words, they can hear this radio program, the next thing they know, they saw you on the internet. 10,000 young men show up, ready to get ready.
Right.
I mean, and this has happened to some people before. They set up a situation where one lady had a job fair, and 1,000 folks showed up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of parents out there looking for somebody to work with their son.
Right.
And what's your capacity?
So one of the things for me is, like I said, I'm passionate about this. Each session runs about an hour.
Okay.
If it goes over, it's a lot that may be going on that we have to unpack for the gentleman.
Right.
So I think I can hold up to at least 10 guys and be able to keep it where we are all on the same page.
That's 10 guys a day, 10 guys a week?
Well, I can do a class that would be up to 10 guys at one time.
Okay.
So we're normally open about 7 hours in a day. So
okay.
I probably can, if it's 10 guys for each session, I probably can get in about 2 or 3 sessions in a day.
All right, there you go.
And being okay with it. If it's one session once a week for 1 hour, unless the guy says, hey, I want to come back an additional week, and then we'd be able to provide for them in that way, accommodate them in those ways. Other things that we do with guys is also, right now we are partnering with the CareNet Peninsula Pregnancy Center in Newport News. So when guys come through that organization, what we will provide for that guy is the type of training or classes they may need in parenting.
Okay.
But then we also want to give incentives. So once they've completed anywhere from 6 to 12 weeks, it just depends on how the course goes, how things are going. What we want to be able to provide for those fathers are either a stroller or there's a crib that they have their eye on. We want to be able to reach out to our donors and say, hey, this is what the need is. And the beautiful thing about what we found out about the folks that have really been donating and helping us is that they have a desire to want to help. So a lot of times as we reach out and say, this is a need that we have, they will actually reach out to see how they can help.
We've gone almost halfway through the show here, but I want you to give a contact place where people can make these donations to you.
Okay.
So where can people reach you at?
So you can reach us on the website, www.180exchange.org. That's the 180exchange.org. You can just click the donate tab. You can donate through there. You can also donate through our Facebook page. We have a Facebook page. And then you also can send in You can mail checks to the 180 Exchange Incorporated. Our mailing address is P.O. Box 825, Newport News, Virginia 23607.
So now if they want to volunteer so that they can be part of this team.
If you want to volunteer, you just give us a call at the office. Area code 757-750-3778.
One more time on that.
That is 757-750-3778. We do a training, volunteer training for individuals. We do ask that men desire to volunteer. We don't turn away ladies,
right.
But we want to also let ladies know that when they come in, their situation would be a little different,
right.
Because we may have them in a case where if it's a dad who's been coming faithfully, he's been doing his part, that mom is a gatekeeper, then we want to be able to have any lady that is open to talking to mom for us,
okay,
on behalf of dad.
Right.
That way we can make sure that we're keeping the barriers where they need to be. I don't want to be the person calling a mom saying, hey, I'm seeing this with dad. We want to be able to get any lady in. We want to get them engaged in what we're doing with dad so that they can go back and talk on behalf of dad based on what they've seen.
That's excellent. And I think that this is the opportunity for people to say, now's the time to get involved with these young men, because the age group. Now, are you doing preventive things too, or are you doing the service only for people who have already become dads?
When you say preventive, what you mean?
Meaning trying to expose 15, 16, 13-year-old young men about becoming fathers, right, before they even become one.
Right. So what we hope to do in another year or two is provide, and hopefully in another year, do some peer relations for teens,
okay,
where they can really kind of help each other in making healthy choices.
Okay.
We're a faith-based organization. We believe in the sanctity of life, and so we want to be able to help in every area that we can.
Okay.
And so in some of those, we want to be able to talk with the kids about making healthy choices,
right,
and understanding that that it is great to wait, right, and also providing resources to help them in those areas.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that would be an excellent thing, because preventing it sometimes helps to make sure that,
most definitely,
or getting them prepared, because sometimes even if you don't prevent it, it's something that if I was prepared for. In other words, when I was a young man, somebody showed us a lot of information about sexuality, about what happens with STDs, about a lot of different things like that.
Right.
If that had never been given to me,
right,
I probably would have done some things that I would not, had made a couple of bad decisions.
right.
But because they did that at an early age, 13, 14, 15 years old, I was clued, at least I understood what was going on.
Right.
And then I think a lot of young men that I grew up with, had that kind of information.
Right.
Also, I think that what we're looking at is, what's your future needs? What are you, if somebody were to say to you, hey, here's the blank check, write it right now.
Yeah.
And it's not just money, but
right,
what are your future needs? Because, I mean, we really want this to go on. So how can the people out there listening today help make this happen?
So we do, we definitely do need the money.
Okay.
So if they wrote a blank check, I would share with them just the different facets that we have going on. To be able to, I just purchased $150 worth of curriculum books.
Right.
For an organization that doesn't really have a deep budget, that kind of chunk hurts.
Right.
So we're right now we're have a $125,000 budget, but we're barely scratching over 20% of that. So we could use funds to help us be able to operate. I have not, this is, like I said, my desire. So,
right,
I'm not getting paid for any of this right now.
Right.
We do hope that would happen. We've got a young lady that's been volunteering time in assisting us in the office. So we want to be able to help her as well. But ultimately, this is not about the money.
Right.
We do need to keep the doors open, but it's all about making sure people understand the need. We've got men in our communities that are brilliant men.
Yes.
but they don't know how. They don't have the on ramps to get on to the next step. We just did a huddle this past Monday where we're bringing guys in from the community so that guys in the community can help network with other guys and help support other guys and help hold other guys accountable so that we can come back to being a community again where it's okay to open up your door and let your neighbor in and be able to have dinner together so that you can still now have that old time mentality,
right.
where it's okay for you to talk to their child
right.
and they not be upset with you.
Gotcha.
That's what we need back in our community. And so we want to be able to provide that opportunity for every man in every community. It's not just a Newport News thing. We desire to spread the 180 exchange throughout the entire Hampton Roads area.
Got it.
And so we're hopefully next going to be moving into the Suffolk area
okay.
and trying to find ways that we can provide services as well.
All right.
Yes, sir.
So now, in your plan, Suffolk is one. You're in Newport News now.
Correct.
And you're looking to go throughout the area.
Throughout the area.
So
we're going to be in all 7 cities.
You're going to be in all 7. That's what I want to talk about.
Yes, sir.
And at those 7 cities, anybody listening to this program right now that wants to help him do this, please call this number.
That's right. 750-3778. That's 750-3778. If you're in any of those areas, I'll come to you. I will come to you and provide the services.
All right.
All you have to find me a library. We can sit down and talk.
So now, the 180 Exchange is an organization that's really with a mission. What's that mission? What's your basic mission?
Our mission is to lead, mentor, and give. We want to provide the tools for each guy to be able to lead in their homes, be mentors in their communities, and give back to the city. We want guys that are going to be assertive, that are going to be helping provide the services that everybody needs, not only just for themselves, but in their home. We want guys to be able to mentor young children as well. We want guys to also give back to the city. We want them to be able to provide, go and do things with community organizations. There's an organization called Serve the City, Newport News. We want to put guys in that organization because they go out and they help elderly families prepare, restore their homes.
Okay.
They provide services like that. So we want guys that come through the 180 Exchange to be able to be a part of things like that, or be able to help mentor a young man, or be able to lead in their home.
That is just so important. We've got a few more minutes, and I wanted to make sure that before you get off this air, tell people a little bit about your background.
Yes, sir. So my background, as I said earlier, I did a fatherhood initiative in Charleston, South Carolina, the Low Country Pregnancy Center. I did that for 3 years. I've been in ministry for 20 years.
Okay.
As I said earlier, we moved, me and my family, my wife, and at the time 3 children. Now we've got 4.
All right.
We moved up here in November of 2015. I am a product of a partial product, I should say, of an HBCU. I met my wife at the South Carolina State University.
All right.
So it's good to be here on the campus of Norfolk State University.
All right.
But I finished out at Charleston Southern University.
Okay.
I just finished my master's degree from Midwestern Baptist Theological Seminary. I am passionate about people. I want to see people make it. My desire is to be able to see where there are no needs in my footprint, in my community, and in any community area. We just want to be able to make sure that people know that they don't have to be by themselves. They're not alone. People do care, and that they love them. And as I said earlier, we moved here. We live within the southeast community of Newport News, a great community to live in, and we just love life.
Well, Pastor, that is great. You're not pastoring a church now.
Not right now. But
you're
I'm
pastoring 180 Exchange.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Indeed.
Yes, sir.
So, Pastor, thank you so much for being on the show today. Any last words you want to put in before we go? Give them that phone number and the site again.
Okay, that's 180exchange.org, 180exchange.org, and the telephone number is 757-750-3778. That's 757-750-3778. And I'm Eddie Francis, and every man needs a 2 a.m. Waffle House frame.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, sir.
You've been listening to the Nonprofit Exchange. I'm your host, C. Richard Gilcrease, and you know, we really are here at the Nonprofit Exchange wanting you to help the nonprofit community of the Hampton Roads area. Our show is dedicated to making sure that you understand how to start a nonprofit organization, how to run a nonprofit organization, and how to make that nonprofit organization help the community. If you don't want to start your own nonprofit organization, we encourage you, every listener out here, to either get a person that they know in their community to come join a nonprofit organization and help this community. You've been listening to the Nonprofit Exchange. I'm your host, Steve Richard Gilchrist. Thank you for listening.